Have you called her an ass? When you act like an ass, that's what you get called.
This week's Married at First Sight dropped us right back into the drama with Ikechi and Emem, but they weren't the only couple facing a big hurdle. Madison was upset with Allan when he drove back to his place after a night out at a bar.
Gonna drive. It's a really bad decision. It's really bad though, Allan.
You know, we've been drinking. I don't think you should be driving, and you know, he just kind of played it off.
This is a 15-minute drive.
Why do you like have this mentality that like no, nothing can touch you? It's not though.
The next day, they talked about it, and it got contentious.
You made that decision selfishly for you because you had to wake up early. You wanted a good night's sleep. Like, you didn't take anything into consideration of like what would have happened. What if you would have gotten pulled over, or what if you would have hit somebody? Like, you're driving on a highway. You weren't going a couple blocks. You were going 15 minutes. That's far.
I mean, we have different perspectives.
So what is your perspective then?
I mean, I know my,
You know your limits?
I know my limits. I'm a 200-pound man. Like a little 4% beer is not doing anything. I don't see any attempt on your end to try to at least understand my perspective or something along those.
Why would I? You're putting yourself at risk. You're putting other people at risk. Like, you're putting us at risk.
If I was inebriated, I would not have driven.
But inebriated doesn't matter, Allan, and that's the difference. Like, you're still under the influence. Why are you trying to get me to understand?
I'm not trying. I'm just explaining my piece.
But you don't even feel bad at all. Like, you're not taking any accountability.
I don't feel bad.
Okay.
Later, during a talk with Dr. Pepper, Madison told Allan that their argument about drinking tied back to her childhood trauma.
I didn't get, like, that normal childhood. There wasn't, you know, a solid foundation. So,
how would you describe how you felt? Just your feelings.
not safe, scared, and alone.
After hearing that, Allan was committed to making a change.
If I'm doing things that make you not feel safe, like that's like an instant shift. Like that'll change it. I want to be somebody that gives you that sense of security.
Well, I think anything to do with drinking or drinking a lot or driving after even a couple drinks, no matter how you feel inside, I think this is an area of her that has great pain in it.
Michelle and David also talked to Dr. Pepper about the challenges they faced growing up, with Michelle sharing how her family's finances impacted her.
We were just like really poor. Like we struggled a lot as kids.
Were you embarrassed?
I don't think I was embarrassed at the time. I think I was more embarrassed that like we didn't have the nicer things that everyone else did. You know, like we would have to have like discounted lunches with like a different colored ticket than the other kids. Like that's what embarrassed me.
So there's some stigma there.
Yeah,
know,
right.
And that's hard. What do you think you took from all that experience in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, I think that shaped me to be who I am now. Like I don't want to go back to that struggle.
Dr. Pepper noted that those experiences play a role in how she feels about her and David's lifestyle differences.
We cannot solve it all within ourselves. We need somebody to talk to and to get some reflection from. And sometimes just sharing some of these things so we can know you better, to know that this is not a shallow response. It's a deep-seated inheritance from your childhood that you're working with.
When Camille talked to Dr. Pepper about her childhood, she shared how she stepped into a protector role for her siblings after her parents split.
You know what therapists would call that?
What?
They would call you a parentified child. You know, you have to be older than you are. You have to be a caretaker that should have been in the parental role, but they couldn't do it, and so you did it. It seems to touch something. Which is noble, by the way. I know it hurts.
Thomas appreciated seeing Camille tap into her emotions. They had more deep conversation later when they read each other letters addressed to their younger selves. Meanwhile, Carla and Juan were making positive strides. Carla picked Juan's brain about starting her own business and showed that she wanted to learn.
This is stuff that, like, you know, I don't even tap into. Like, my brain thinks creatively, and I'm just very free-flowing. So I think I'm super grateful to have you in my life where, you know, you're able to give me your insight.
You can build an empire.
I agree.
People do it all the time.
She also took him on a Pilates date and showed how she wants to incorporate that practice into her dream business. And Juan liked seeing her drive.
I'm seeing a side of Carla I just haven't seen. She is taking steps. She is showing action. She's definitely like showing ambition, showing drive as well. She's not just like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and hang out and not really do anything, you know? So I like what I hear.
Now let's get back to Ikechi and Emem, who were at odds after the fiery group dinner. Pastor Cal had a solo conversation with Ikechi, who said in his eyes, Emem wanted a husband and not him specifically.
I came in this to be married as well.
Right.
But I gotta like you to want to move in with you.
What is it that you don't like?
Her attitude, personality.
Tell me more.
How many times has she kind of made me feel small, like I don't have enough, or I don't
Tell
do
me
enough?
more. I need to know more about that.
Just how she acts. I don't feel like I'm a partner. I just feel like I'm an extra in the dream that is hers.
He went on to say this about respect in their relationship, which Pastor Cal quickly challenged.
Have I disrespected her? Not once.
Have you called her an ass?
When you act like an ass, that's what you get called. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been disrespectful.
And I understand also that you said in front of the group that my wife treats me
like maybe I shouldn't have said that in front of everybody, but at the same time, like the way she made me feel at that moment, I didn't care.
Emem also had to sit down with Dr. Pia, and she shared where her head's at in terms of reconciling.
As you're presenting it, right, like you have done everything in your power, you've been nice, and he's treated you poorly, he's called you out of your name, he's made inflammatory comments. Why do you still want to be with him?
There's a chance that he has not realized that these are defense mechanisms for him. Because that could explain a lot. I don't know.
I think you just hit it on the head. Can you lead with that thought process when you're interacting with him?
Yes.
When they all sat down together, they dug into Ikechi's comment that Emem was aggressive, as well as their physical intimacy.
I just wasn't comfortable having sex just yet.
Okay.
I didn't want to heighten the situation, and then, like, whatever happens in the end, does it work out? So I was really just trying to protect the sanity of the relationship.
Did you share that with her?
No.
Okay. What I'm hearing then is that there was an assumption that that's what Emem needed, and there wasn't a check-in with her about what she might need. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay. And then you received that as rejection because you didn't have the additional information.
Yeah.
Pastor Cal later broke down their different outlooks on how to get to know each other.
You're art.
I am.
You're science.
I am.
But they think differently. For somebody who's art, sometimes it's even difficult to explain what you need. You know, I kind of need you to experience who I am in order for you to know me. Help me, am I right? And for you, you are still saying, can you give me some direction?
I need help.
You need help.
I can't guess it.
Right.
The experts encouraged them to commit to better trying to understand each other, and they weren't closed off to it. Dr. Pia also asked that they take this step.
I don't see how this is going to work if y'all don't move back in together.
Will you move back in with me?
I'll move back in with you.
Okay.